get the bait, gotta get the bait. Ain't no need to lag, ain't no need to lag. Yeah, gotta chase the bait, gotta chase the bait. Ain't no need to lag.
What's up and welcome to Lunchtime in the Lab, your number one gambling podcast for quick picks. I am your host as always. Get my notes pulled up here and we will get going. Let me see. Actually, just a second. Let me delete it. Hit the wrong button on the recording, so give me just a moment and we get cracking. Just live on YouTube today. So hopefully, I really don't want to go live on Twitter and YouTube at the same time because I feel like it then in turn doesn't really like help YouTube out. So I guess we have to kind of see how that goes, but we'll see. All right, here we go though. We'll get her going. Oh, I didn't even mean to close it out. What's good? What's up, man? All right, we're gonna get started. Only a couple people watching right now, but that's all right. Continuing to move on, trying to do some long form type stuff as well. You'll see. I had the one video for the 10K challenge. I've got some what's it called? I got some ideas. For some good stuff. I think some like educational, like a betting baseball 101, because I know that's kind of confusing normally, and then like how I research. So like on this website, kind of do like a quick like 3 to 5 minute video of just like, what I look for or whatever, and do like a little educational like series or whatever. So really trying to make that YouTube push. But all right, here we go. What's up and welcome to Lunchtime in the Lab, your number one gambling podcast for quick picks, live on just YouTube today. Been trying to rotate between YouTube and Twitter. Today's show brought to you by Beer Money Picks. As usual, we won't spend as much time on it. You guys know it by now. You like my plays here. You can get every ounce of the plays by checking out the link in the description on YouTube here and using that code Lunchtime, all caps. Will be able to get you your little bit of a discount there. Let's see. Yesterday we had ourselves a 2-in-1 day. We'll talk about what we did, here in a second. We also hit the day one again. So I mean, here we go. We're on to day two. Unfortunately, if we didn't miss the one the other day, what would be on day 4 or 5 or something like that, but that's just how the 10K challenge goes, unfortunately. And not even, I guess, I don't even know if you call it a true 10K challenge. I mean, we're trying to hit 10 bets in a row and it's going to come out. It won't come out to 10,000 because of the juice, but hey, whatever it comes out to, even if we get up to 1,000 and people cash out, I mean, that's success right there. Like we certainly can't complain about that. I feel like my computer is crooked. If I'm staring directly at the camera, I guess it's straight, but I don't know. Gosh, dang it. My wife's not here. I can hear my son run in the water. That's never good. He's probably washing his hands, but he knows when it's time for the podcast, he knows he can just do whatever the hell he wants. Dude's frustrating. Anyhow, I was saying just before this, if you're new to the channel or watching this on a recorded version or anything like that, I'm trying to pump out more content. I have different thumbnails for each video now instead of that plain one. So we're going to do that. Working on doing a specific 10K video, working on trying to put together like some educational type videos in terms of like specific sport gambling. With baseball coming up, it's a little difficult. People get really confused with it normally. And then, just how I research or something like that. So all kinds of beneficial stuff. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, it'd probably be pretty beneficial to, do some of that stuff. I'm trying to have, because my live videos, like they're dead as soon as the plays start. And then it's like, there's no use watching them anymore. So I'm trying to have something that's going to last a little longer. I'm about to mute my mic and yell at my son. So, oh, he turned it off. Okay. Never mind. Okay. Today is March 12th. Before we get into today's plays, let's take a look back, see what we did yesterday. Isaiah Stewart over 17.5. I tell you what, I posted that we hit this one, and then somebody had mentioned, and I don't know if you happen to be in here, that the line wasn't available or something like that. during the podcast, that's what it catches to play it live. It was definitely available. I even talked about it being available because it was at 18 and a half. I said, nope, I'm looking at a 17 and a half right now. So we finished at 18. So depending on where you got it, I apologize if you could only get it at 18 and a half, depending on when you locked it in. We were able, if you caught it live and you were on the show live, we got it at 17 and a half, and that bad boy cashed for Isaiah Stewart. Nikola Vucevic, dude, rough. Like, what the heck? Like, the Bulls got whooped, right? Like, they got dog walked. It was 30. They were losing by like 30 points in the first quarter. I thought maybe they were trying to come back. Nobody could make a bucket. I ended up actually running his threes in the Discord, and he went, one. I don't know if you can be hooked on a 1.5 line, but essentially got hooked on it. 21 and a half points. I mean, it never had a shot. We haven't lost a bet in the Discord or on the podcast because of a blowout in a while. So I mean, I guess we were due. But I mean, he didn't even play the fourth quarter. He only played probably 6 minutes of the third quarter or something like that. So he didn't play very much. And then our pick of the day, Pods over 10 and a half rebounds and assists. I tell you what, guys, that looked cooked in the first half. I didn't know he wasn't going to start. So he came off the bench for the first time in quite a while. Clay ended up starting, which Clay has been, playing from the bench. So probably because Curry wasn't in, but even with Curry out, Pods was still, Pods was still starting. He only had 5 at halftime, and then like late in the fourth quarter, last like 3 or 4 minutes, the dude just took off. Then he was at 10, and I was sweating for a second, and then he ended up finishing with 12. So we cashed that no problem. So we are going to move on to day 2. As always, the people that are live here, you guys can pick. I definitely have an idea of the play that I want to be, but if everyone's like really liking another, I mean, we can certainly change it up. But without further ado, make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. 424 subscribers. So we're getting there. I picked up just from that 10K video I did yesterday, like 7 or 8, just off of that video. You can see in the analytics. So that's kind of nice. So definitely got to make sure I do that again. Yeah, make sure you help me, help you, and hit those likes and everything like that. First play is going to be Dante DiVincenzo over 3.5 threes. If you look at the graph here, he's over in 76% of the games without Randall. We do. I know. I heard you watching them. All right, go. I'll be out there in a second. Jeez, Pete, freaking kids. Over 76% of the games out Randall. As you can see, he has never gone back-to-back misses. So this certainly in the last skid that he's on right now was the first time he's gone back-to-back missing. So I mean, it's hard to think that he's going to go 3 misses in a row without hitting this number. The guy's just like, the dude's a shooter. I mean, he's averaging 12 and a half attempts in the span that I have listed for this graph here. I always don't know what way to point. He shot 3 for 10 and 3 for 12 in those 2 games that he did just miss. I mean, like, that's the kind of volume you want to bet on. I mean, I would much rather bet a guy and he takes 15 threes and doesn't make enough than betting on a guy that you're like, why aren't you shooting? It's very frustrating to be, on somebody that's like, he's only going to get 4 attempts and we need him to make 2. Well, if we need him to make 3 or 4, whatever the number is, and he's shooting 3 times that, I mean, that's certainly a heck of a number. The amount of volume, like I said, is going to be there. It's going to be perfect for us. In the last 15 games, the 76ers are allowing the 3rd most threes to shooting guards, and he just got in that fight with Oubre the other day. God, I mean, I don't know if y'all heard the audio clip, but I mean, he had some words for Oubre too, which were surprising. I think it was him. Somebody, I mean, he dropped the N-word and everything like that, So rough fight there. So hopefully we got some fire coming out and he's going to be shooting lights out, after that little scuffle after his textbook takedown that he had. But this is also going to be the potential for the first game with OG back. So we don't really know what that looks like. They have not played together. He came over in the trade and then like got hurt and like hasn't really done anything. We haven't had a game. So that is a little bit of a fear with this bet. But I mean, like, hey, like that's the gamble with this bet. But every bet is gambling. Every bet isn't going to be absolutely perfect. And even the perfect bets that we think are great aren't going to hit. Just like De'Aaron Fox the other day, terrible shooting. But I mean, it was just the perfect matchup. He's either going to take we're either going to complain that he took a lot of shots from him, or we're going to be happy because now his shots are more like he has more quality shots. Like OG's demanding, not a double team, but like he's pulling different people over. That's maybe going to open up better looks for, Dante here. So we'll ride him over 3.5 threes. Got a good number on it too. Send it like minus 110. Get up to, 125, 130. I mean, it's fine. It gets a little juicy up there. I don't normally like to play too much higher than that for straights. So that'll be our first option for our quote unquote pick of the day for our 10K challenge. Second play, kind of a weird one. Andrew Nebard over 5.5 rebounds and assists, and this is a play on an injury, which I've had some pretty good success going after injuries, to be honest, guys. This graph here is games without Benedict Mathurin playing. On average, he's averaging 29 minutes per game without him in. He is over this in 5 of his last 6 times that Mathurin has been out. Mathurin's out for the year, if I'm not mistaken now. So this trend is going to go away, obviously, because, that's just the way it's going to be the rest of the year. But the one miss that he had was against the Magic, and, the Magic are pretty tough defense to most positions and most teams, So that miss against the Mavericks isn't too. The Magic isn't too crazy because they do play pretty stout defense, all the time for the most part. But if we were to look at games with or without Mathurin this year and filter to at least 29 minutes played, which is the average that he has without him on the court, he would be hitting in over 75% of his games played. If we pull that number down, say we pull it down to 22 minutes played, right? So he's averaging 29 when he's not on the court. Let's pull it all the way down to 22 minutes played. He's hitting at a 72% clip. I talk about it a lot. You got a minus 110. You have an implied odds of winning. It's like, what is that? Like a 49% win or something like that. Essentially, a straight is essentially 50-50. It's going to happen or it's going to not. Like, there's not any outside factors. You don't need him to hit and him to get a win, the team to win or anything like that. So 22 minutes played, sitting in a 72% clip. I mean, that's pretty damn good. That's pretty good, regardless of who's on the court, if he plays that many minutes. And he's been getting a lot of minutes, obviously, without Mathurin on the court. So not a lot to say about the matchup, though, to be honest. I mean, it's an injury play, like I said, which I've been doing pretty good on. I mean, if you're in the Discord, we've been killing it with Oubre. Curry was just out. We just hit with pods. I mean, like, honestly, in the NBA, that's how I like to play. That's just how I like to play. I like to go after, if Wemby's out, take Keldon Johnson, hit him 2 games in a row. That's the first thing I do is check, Roto World, NBA lineups, and just see who's out or who's projected out and what that could mean to, what's going on or whatever. Let's see. OKC, pretty average matchup. Good for rebounds, not as good for assists. Last season against OKC, so it's not like it really doesn't really matter. Like, different team, different makeup, and everything like that. You bring me a basketball? That's how fitting, buddy. Freaking kid. Anyway, against OKC, he was 2 for 2 with 12 and 9 RA in those 2 games. So, I mean, he flew over that pretty much. But go watch your show, right? You haven't been in here all day. You're all right. Come on. We also have a high total of 239 and a spread of 6.5. So hopefully this is going to be a pretty good game to bet props on. So our second play will be Nebard over 5.5 rebounds and assists. Before we do the third play, as always, please make sure you hit the like. Please make sure you guys have hit that sub button by now as well. Please, if you have not, hit the sub. If you're watching on a recorded version, certainly do love the comment interaction. I'm sure there's some kind of algorithm that says, hey, they want likes and they want a lot of comments. So please, hit the comments, even if you just say, like, appreciate you, or shoot, just say your favorite color. I don't care. I'm sure that helps. I had something else to say. I don't remember what it was. Third play, right into third play here. Honestly, this is my pick for the pick of the day. I'll see what you guys have to say about it. Although I don't have any of this, like, oh, he's over in a bunch of ways or anything like that. All right. Giannis over 6.5 assists is my favorite look. So, over 6.5 assists. So if you look at the graph, he's over this in, a 50-50 hit rate. So in the last 10, so not fantastic, not the worst. I mean, that's pretty average. Over. He's got 10 plus in 2 straight games here. And then the 2 misses he had before that were at 6. So, I mean, losing on the hook. So we've been kind of like right there, if that makes sense. So, why do I like it? He's been in a good passing form, right? So he's had 10 and 12 assists in his last 2 games. When he last played the Kings, he had 10 assists in that game, but he had 20 potentials. He had the opportunity to fly over. The guy's been killing it. Triple doubles, double doubles every game, obviously. But he had 20 potentials in that game that he played, and he came away with 10. That's a pretty decent amount. Oh, yeah. I thought I saw you. Yeah, I try to tell you, I try to go every other. If I do it just on Twitter every day, no one's ever gonna come over to subscribe to YouTube. So I figure, you give them a taste every other day. Hey, if you like this, come on over to YouTube. And I don't know if it works, to be honest. I definitely get more interaction when I'm on Twitter, but I'm trying to grow this dang YouTube channel. We have a total though of 237 points with a 2.5 point spread in this game. So pretty high total with a pretty close game. This should be a really good game. I mean, Kings versus Bucks. As long as he doesn't try to do it all himself or get in foul trouble, we just need him to get these assists in. And when you look at these numbers, right? So I'm talking about he had 10 that, last game. He had 12 the game, before that. And last time they played, they had 10. And like my eyes or my ears or whatever, I'm thinking like, like the line must be 10. The line must be 9.5 or 8.5 or something like that. Like, no, like we just need 6.5 assists. 6.5 is all we need. So, I mean, we're talking about how he's gone double digits in multiple times and this and that. Like, we just need him to have 6.5. He just had 20 potentials and he converted 50% of his potentials. I don't know what the math is, but I mean, like, what is that like? That could be it's under 40%, like 33% or something like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna get a calculator out. But if he has the same amount of potentials, how's he not gonna hit 7 assists? Obviously, it kind of goes back and forth, but in my eyes or my ears, whatever it is, when you look at this and you see all of like this history and what we're talking about, and then you're telling me that the line's only 6.5 when he's hitting double digits back to back, and he had double digits the last time he played them, and he had 20 assists. I think it's a good look. And then maybe that's why I'm like overly passionate about it, because this is the view that I had for day 2. So, I mean, we got some live people in here. Let me know if you really like the Neberard play or the DiVincenzo play. DiVincenzo, I just seen the line move just a little bit. So I don't know. I doubt you guys are moving the line, but if that one got popular. But I'll pull the recap up here. For those of you that kind of joined late or whatever, let me know in the comments here, the live comments, if you like one or the other. I'm leaning Giannis though. But our 3 choices and our recap for March 12th is DiVincenzo over 3.5 threes, Nebard over 5.5 rebounds and assists, and then Giannis over 6.5. I don't know if I said Nebard right. Over 5.5 rebounds and assists, and then Giannis over 6.5 assists. I like Jason's been here every day. Appreciate Jason. Jason likes the Dante prop. I like the Dante prop too, to be honest. But looking at where I played it on FanDuel, I just like when I started this, we were sitting at minus 105. It's up to minus 138, which is kind of ugly for trying to do like a like this little 10K like rollover or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like the 6.5. I think we'll run the 6.5. I think that's the play. I got a few people on it. He thinks he gets at least 8. What is that? Geeked thinks Giannis gets at least 8. For those of you who can't see that, watching on, listening on the recorded version, I'm able to pull comments up on YouTube. Just another factor. Another thing that's nice to get in on the audio, the visual side of things. I think he gets 8 too. I think he could go for a triple double, to be honest. He's been looking pretty good. But I do really like these plays. So I think it's cool that, this is certainly an option for you guys if you want to, pick these 3. And like I said, it's been a while since I've gone 0-3. So you have a 33% chance to pick one of these for a 10K type challenge that you're running. You run with me, or you run it, run another play that you hear that you overly like. the play for us today, officially for me, for the podcast. I'm going to make another video after this. Honestly, I already have the graphic made, so it's always going to be Giannis. But we're going to ride Giannis over 6.5 assists. We had bet $10 on pods yesterday to turn that into probably $19 or $18. I don't remember what the juice was. We're going to take that $18 or $19 and put it on Giannis assists. Unfortunately, we have to wait all the way until 10 o'clock tonight, which means I'm going to be up kind of late probably on the Eastern time zone or whatever. But yeah, Giannis is going to be the pick of the day for the podcast for the day 2. Going to have an official video put out on that and the afterwards here as well. That's all I got. Unless anybody has anything popped up in the comments here in a second, I'm going to do this closeout here for the audio side at least. And then we will, see from there if anybody's got anything. But as always, I'm your host, Lunchtime Lab. We're brought to you every day. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to follow me on all social medias at Live Joe Bets. Literally every social media at Live Joe Bets. YouTube at Lunchtime in the Lab. You get the graphics, you get the visuals, and I'm starting to work on. Couldn't sleep last night. 4 a.m. feeding the baby. I got 3 ideas for 3 different tools and websites that I like to use for NBA research. And when the time comes for MLB, I mean, gosh, there's like 3 or 4 different websites I like to use. I could make a video on. Betting 101 for baseball, that's a difficult sport to normally bet on. I have a lot of things coming. In fact, I'm so like kind of ADD with it. Like when I have a job to do, like I can't sleep. Like if I gotta, I don't know, dig a hole in my backyard, like I'm out there at 6 a.m. wondering, is it too early to start doing this? So like I have to stop myself from pumping out 6 videos in one day. I mean, that's not good for anybody. That's not any kind of growth or anything like that. But make sure you sub. If you're interested, I am looking towards having some more long form content over than just these lives, and hopefully it's beneficial. And if you're still watching this far, comment something that maybe you struggle with that you think would be a good video, or something that's confusing, or how do you do this? And I can make a video or something on it. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm going to close it out in the audio. I'm going to close it out in the visual here too. And I will plan on seeing you guys back tomorrow. Where's my button? I got to find my button from outro. Peace.